You know what caught my attention recently? That OpenAI just signed over $1 trillion worth of compute contracts. That's 12 zeros, equivalent to the power of 20 nuclear plants. As an investor, I'm not just impressed, I'm curious, because OpenAI's annual revenue is only around 12 billion. So now the question isn't just where does the money come from? It's what kind of financing machine have they built? And more importantly, are we witnessing the AI revolution or the AI bubble 2.0? My mission with this video is simple: to bridge the dialogue gap between hype and reality, to understand how capital, innovation, and trust are shaping each other in this trillion-dollar loop. Here's what I noticed while diving into this: that every player in this loop, OpenAI, Nvidia, Oracle, AMD, are both an investor and a customer. Believe it or not, they're buying from each other and they're funding each other and telling Wall Street the same story, that AI demand will be infinite. It's the most fascinating and risky trust cycles I've ever seen. But is it really a bubble? Or is it just how the next generation of capital formation works? The question I want to figure out is, when does innovation funding cross the line into speculative loop? And if this is a loop, is it sustainable enough to become the new financing model for deep tech? Or will it fail under its own leverage? Let's start with the triangle: OpenAI, Oracle, Nvidia. Nvidia invests up to 100 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI takes that money and buys Nvidia chips. Oracle builds data centers for OpenAI using Nvidia's GPUs. It's a perfect cycle. Cash flows in a circle, headlines goes up, and everyone's stocks rallies. In traditional finance, this would be called a leverage chain. In modern tech, we call it strategic synergy, that each player benefits until the demand slows or one link breaks. Then comes AMD with a deal that made even Jensen Huang raise an eyebrow. OpenAI agreed to buy 6 gigawatts of AMD chips. But instead of paying cash, AMD got 1.6 billion worth of OpenAI equity, about 10% of the company. That's not just a purchase. It's a swap between future and face. AMD bet its own shares on OpenAI's growth. If OpenAI wins, both win. If OpenAI stall, AMD pays the price. It's creative, it's bold, I really like how they're doing this, and it's the most 2025 thing I've ever seen in corporate finance. But it also means one thing: the whole ecosystem is now running on mutual confidence instead of cash flow. This is really, really interesting. And here's where it gets more interesting. A lot of these contracts are letters of intent. No cash has actually moved yet, but both sides can still take those letters to the bank and say, hey, look, I've got a $1 trillion client. So that would initiate the banks to lend, investors to buy, and hopefully stocks jump. And suddenly, we're living in a financial theater where every promise looks like profit. However, the moment sentiment shifts, though, this loop can collapse faster than a data center blackout. Progress 4. Something became clear to me as I studied this more deeply. This isn't just about chips or contracts. It's about narratives powering economies. The world's growth engine is slowing. Debt is high, productivity is stagnant, and investors everywhere are searching for the next big story. AI luckily became that story, the last frontier that still lets people believe in the future. So capital keeps flowing, not because the math is perfect, because hope still sells better, much better than fear. That's the true power of the AI loop, where stories become system and belief becomes capital. As someone who studies markets from both East and West, I don't see this as pure mania. I see human psychology amplified by technology. We always overbuild around the next big dream: railroads, the internet, crypto, and AI. Every cycle leaves behind real infrastructure, real knowledge, and real winners who stayed patient. The trick isn't to avoid the bubble, it is to understand the trust network behind it. to know when the trust is genuine and when it's just leverage in disguise. So, is OpenAI's trillion-dollar power play a vision or a bubble? I say maybe both. It is the most ambitious experiment in financial engineering since the dot-com era. But it's also a window into how the next generation of innovations will be funded. As investors, what matters is not the hype cycle, but the trust cycle. Because in the end, capital always follows the stories people choose to believe. I'm Frank, and this is AI Loop, how stories become reality. Let's keep nerding out loud.